know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. So before we get into Andy's army of minions, the army of darkness, the army of just, treacherous housewives that are trying to take a former housewives down allegedly, we've got to talk about Phaedra Parks and her rejoining the sinking ship that is the Real Housewives of Atlanta, aka the Titanic. But who's gonna tell her that the return hasn't yet done what it needs to do? Maybe, just maybe, this is like fertilizer, and it's going to take some time to grow and to raise the ship back up out of the dark, deep, dank ocean of ratings hell. Okay. This is all the gospel according to Phaedra, not me. Okay. So Phaedra was a part of the Sherri Shepherd show. Now, I can't tell quite yet if this was a pre-recorded thing or if it was live. I would imagine it was pre-recorded. That's just my thinking. I would imagine this was pre-recorded because she was in New York last weekend for the press rounds. I think it was last weekend. So I would imagine that this was recorded last week, maybe before the episode aired, and, didn't do what it was thought that it was going to do, right? So she says that she wants to see where, Real Housewives of Atlanta, where it used to be. So she's getting back on the Titanic to raise it up. Yes. What about those ratings, though? Okay. I mean, and again, we don't have the full Peacock ratings. And a lot of you guys said y'all don't watch it in real time. No way. Okay. Oh, and then she manages to shade the cast of Married to Medicine because apparently the last time Phaedra was in New York, she didn't make the Sherri show, but she did. This was around the time that she was, I'm assuming exiting Married to Medicine. And she calls those ladies miserable, right? It was a miserable experience. And she also says this, that she only wants to sit at tables where she's actually welcome. And she did not feel very welcome at that table. And, to a certain degree, she is absolutely correct. Okay. They didn't want her at the table, but I think it was also too that they probably had more of an expectation that Phaedra was going to show something or get a little bit more actively involved in some way, shape, or form. I'm not really sure. First season, yeah, I could see, because you kind of got to get your footing. She kind of got involved with the quad stuff and, the resurrection of it all, bringing quad to Sweet T's bachelorette party, but by the end of the season, really wasn't much left for her to do. Second season coming back in, I think that those ladies expected her to work. And if they weren't going to get her to work, they were going to force her to work by bringing in Apollo. Because she brought him to the reunion. So I guess they thought, well, he's fair game. Let's bring him on. All right. And I think at that point, that's when Phaedra was like, okay, y'all not playing with a full deck right now. Okay. Because this man isn't even medicine. Well, neither is Phaedra. But as I stated before, apparently in this day and time, you just have to have a doctor in order to be on Married to Medicine. Do you know a doctor? Then you too can be cast. Yes. We welcome any and all. Okay. If you even saw a doctor's name in the phone book, and they don't even think they make phone books no more, then you too can be on Married to Medicine. If you have just driven by a doctor's office in the past 10 years, you too can be invited to be a cast member on Married to Medicine at this point. Ooh, anyway, so y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Shout out to the Bravo Shade Room for capturing this. Speaking about those ratings, I was not going to do this per se, but since we're here and I did see it yesterday and the Bravo Shade Room did post it, I'm gonna ask you guys a question about what your thoughts are about what Jalen Banks had to say about them ratings, though. After fans in Kenya reacted to those Real Housewives of Atlanta ratings, Jalen had stepped into the comment section and said, if my wife was on there to shake the tables, it wouldn't be a problem with the views. Well, here's the thing. And again, I think you see it in the comments. I think that the fans are now calling for Nene. All right. They've been calling for her. They want her. I don't think any new person outside of somebody just extremely, extremely notable joining. I've long said that Tamar should be on the show. She's online arguing with people for free. Why not get paid to argue? And look fabulous as we know she can do. I don't know why no one's listening to me. I mean, I know, and I feel like she'd probably be able. I guess at this point, why do it? Because you got your own show and you can fight with your own people. And I think that she said that WeTV is doing right by her right now. So why even? But I'm just saying, if you're gonna be beefing with people, just at least be paid for it. I'm trying to think of somebody else, like a name that could really. I mean, what is Latasha Scott doing? What is Latasha Scott doing? Not that she's like so sassy that she would just like make for a like, but now that would be interesting. I don't know what else she's doing right now. So I mean, I'm just okay. Never mind. Okay, never mind. Y'all gonna hurt me in the comments. So I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. Let's get into Andy's army of minions. All right, let's get into it because now the Bravo Snark side has. I mean, this. Ooh. Apparently, y'all remember Leah McSweeney, right? And we're gonna get into how Kandi is getting up into this in a minute. But first things first, okay. Andy allegedly deployed an army of housewives to unleash a coordinated attack to cast Leah McSweeney as a liar after white powder-filled booze allegations lawsuits. All right, so Leah McSweeney, for those of you guys who do not recall, was a cast member on The Real Housewives of New York. Sadly miscast. The woman was sadly miscast. She did not need to be cast on that show. She was never a good fit for that show. I felt like she weighed the cast down. She brought the energy down. She was completely unnecessary. I felt like she would have been better suited for a Summer House type show. I think that would have been a much better fit for her. It just was always a no for me. I just never saw it for this lady on The Real Housewives of New York. Again, Summer House, yes. Winter House, yes. Nothing else. Okay. Period. That's just me. So anyway, she had filed, I guess, some sort of complaint with the show, with the network and all them people around the same time as all these other lawsuits popping up. And she had alleged that Andy used the media to unleash a coordinated attack to smear her. Well, this is what's being alleged. After she made claims about him and his Real Housewives shows. Okay, she claims this is what she's claiming in a new court filing. Now, in 2024, she claimed that the show boss, Andy Cohen, snorted the white powders and other cast members, and that producers pressured her to fall off the wagon. Now, I don't know if you guys recall this, but Leah, when on the show, the first season she was on there, she was a very hot mess when she drank, especially. And so the show seemed to, I don't know if it encouraged alcohol drinking, but the women definitely drink or used to drink a lot on New York, right? And so when she came back to the show, she came back, I think, in a much more sober capacity. And it was, giving, I'm trying not to drink, right? But apparently, and I don't know if it was also behind the scenes, there was some discussion about her drinking on Ultimate Girls Trip as well. Um, I mean, there just was, to be honest. And now she's claiming in the court papers that Andy abused his power to direct or induce an army of Bravo stars to claim that she is a liar in the press. Now, the mentions are more than 20 cast members by name, including Luann de Lesseps, Kyle Richards, Melissa Gorga, Kandi Burruss, and Dorinda Medley, who it claims were coaxed to slam her in the media and including on TMZ, Page Six, and various podcasts and TV shows. It specifically alleges that ubiquitous Bravo celebrity Lisa Vanderpump appeared on The Talk and said, "I'm on Cohen's side." Heather Dubrow of the Real Housewives of Orange County implied on her podcast that Leah should be thanking Bravo rather than suing Bravo because she is making money and thriving because of this platform, and said that she was irritated by her lawsuit, and that Margaret Josephs of the Real Housewives of New Jersey told Page Six that Leah's claims were intended to do nothing but assassinate Andy's character, and that is disgusting. All right. In each case, the suit claims that the star, okay, the Bravo celebrity, would not have made the statement but for Andy's direction or inducement. And this new filing is supposed to, like, I guess, bolster up, her argument that the defendants retaliated against her for filing a lawsuit. Here's what I also think. Here's what I think happened. All right. I think that the women were asked about this lawsuit, or it came up in some way, shape, or form. I can't say that for all situations. And I think that at the end of the day, especially for the women that were mentioned, in some capacity, these women are still either in partnership or contracted with the network. So, for by and large, most people are not going to publicly speak out against the place where they make their money unless they're no longer making money from that company. All right. And then at that time in 2024, when these things were being stated, many of these women were still contracted with the network. Look at Luann. She's on Love Hotel. At that point in time, Kandi was on Real Housewives of Atlanta and maybe in the waiting process to determine whether or not she was going to do another season. You had Dorinda Medley, who I think still plays around with the network in some capacity because she did Traders last year. Margaret Josephs was still on Real Housewives of New Jersey at that time. So, and Heather Dubrow is obviously still on the Real Housewives of Orange County. So some of those names, it's obvious to me that they're just going to defend their place of business or how they make their money. And I just feel like that's just how life works. I'm not saying that her claims, I'm not downplaying her claims, but I'm just giving you the real on why some of these people who were still making money with this business would likely defend them. And of course, Lisa Vanderpump is going to do so because she still has shows on the network. So, I mean, it's kind of like, what would you expect them to say? I mean, the reality is when a lot of people have gone up against the network, at the end of the day, the situations have either been in some way, shape, or form quietly settled, and we don't really hear that much about them anymore, i.e. Mariah, i.e. Nene, and we can't, I don't know that those situations were totally made whole or right, but what I do know is that they have definitely died down. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out as things continue to go on. I'd be interested to see what happens next. I really would. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Hit that notification bell button. Join the community because, like, y'all, we are doing the doggone thing. Okay, we're doing the doggone thing. We're having conversations about housewives, reality TV, basketball wives, all of the things. And of course, what would this channel be if we did not talk a little bit about travel? Okay. As I told you guys before in previous videos, if you are looking for a way to travel the world and you don't really have to even do much, okay, for under $400, the first thing that you get is an incentive trip when you join to any one of these places. Type in Rich Life in your phone, text it to 202-918-3386, tap all the way in. If you refer this to 3 people, your monthly membership is paid. The monthly membership is under $150. I've seen people pay $150 for a night out in DC. Okay, for dinner. All right. And so if you're the type of person that likes to travel, this is definitely right up your alley. If I click on here, let's see if I want to go to Greece. I can go to Greece. There's Athens. I think there's Crete. There's Santorini that's available for 6 days and 5 nights. So lots of available options for you to cut your cell phone bill in half as well. And again, referring 3 people, the company then pays for your monthly membership. I ain't never paid that monthly membership a day in my life. Okay. And I've had this since November. All right. So if this is something that you are interested in, if you love to travel and if you love to make a little bit of money, okay, this is definitely for you. You can make as much as from $4.45 per day up to $3,200 per day just by referring this. Okay. Or like I said, you could do nothing and just take these trips and just live fabulously and get up to 80% off of your travels. Okay. So with that being said, don't say I ain't never told y'all nothing, gave y'all no tea, no information. Also, too, I tried to tell y'all, for those of you guys who are interested in content creation, real quick, definitely hop on Facebook. Start making content on Facebook. Their content monetization is very, very interesting. So test some things out if you are interested in making content and getting paid for that, because they are definitely doing it over there on Facebook. You will see any and everybody making content on Facebook right now. Trust and believe, because it is blowing up. All right. All right. So with that being said, like I said, don't say I never told you nothing. No, don't say I never gave you no tips to make no money. Don't say I never gave you no tips to take some trips. All right. And of course, we still have our trip coming up to Cape Town, South Africa, November 30th through December 7th. Definitely click the links in the description down below for all of that information, because again, like I said, this may be one of my last trips that I actually host like this, but it is going to be absolutely fabulous. We're going to do all the things. We're going to do the safaris, the wine tours, Table Mountain. We're going to be looking at real estate. We're going to be doing a yacht cruise. We're going to go to Hout Bay. We're going to see the places where Oprah and all of them have their houses. You know, we're going to do all of those fancy things and more. Again, this is 5-star trip. This is a 5-star luxury vacation. If you are in need of a vacation and you want to go to Africa, this is your opportunity to do so with me. It's going to be fun. All right. With that being said, I will catch you guys in the next.